Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, Congressman Joe Neguse is announcing new legislation today on Capitol Hill to respond to mass shootings. We're breaking down his new proposal more than a year now after the King Soopers shooting in his district.
Fighters on the ground in Ukraine allege Russia is using chemical weapons. We're getting new details from the Pentagon and also new insight into how the war is impacting Ukrainian children.
And a nonprofit giving instruments to students and teachers is finding new purpose after the Marshall Fire.
And a light bulb went off and I was just like, well, this is what we already do.
How you can help support their mission and bring some positivity back to the area with a big music festival later this month. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We have a big change coming in the forecast. Lisa Hidalgo is here. Lisa, I was in Florida last week. I'm ready for some cooler weather here.
Wait, you're ready for
already?
Yeah, I want the cold again.
Wow. What?
Hold on.
I wasn't done with it.
99.9% of us were not in Florida last week, okay?
Oh, okay.
We are looking at some cool and wet weather, though. Take a look out west. You can see there we're over the mountains picking up some really good snow right now. Heavy snow expected. In fact, we could see upwards of a foot by late today, above about 10,000 feet. So get ready for a pretty dicey drive out west. Here in town, it's dry right now. The winds have kicked up. Wind speeds have been at about 20 to near 40 miles per hour. Berthoud Pass, a recent wind gust of near 60. So it's going to be pretty gusty this morning. And those winds will continue to be an issue, not only today, but really through the end of the week, unfortunately. Denver right now, though, 55 with that southwesterly wind. Broomfield 54, Highlands Ranch 55. We've got 30s in the mountains early this morning. It is going to be cooler, windy today. Chance for a few rain showers. And then, Jason, could see a little snow here. And blame Nicole, because she's the one that wants it late tonight and tomorrow.
Oh, well, we blame a lot of things on Nicole. Right now, we do have those wet conditions here in Glenwood Springs. You can see that at the Grand Avenue Bridge. If you look at the light here, you can actually see some of the snow that's coming across the camera there. So it's very wet for us on I-70. A lot of splashback to deal with. Farther north, like up in Steamboat, Highway 40, tons of snow up there. So we have snow-covered roads. Take a look at the drive that we have overall in Metro Denver. Not too bad. I see this little blip of yellow and red showing up on Highway 36. From the camera right there by Pecos, it's a little bit too far, but I can't quite see what might have been going on. Maybe just a slow truck or two, but I'm not seeing any huge delays because of that. I'll keep an eye on it this morning. The rest of the drive looks just fine. No other issues for us on or off the freeways. Pretty active on the overnight hours, but right now it's pretty quiet for your morning commute.
We do want to start with some breaking news out of Adams County. A deputy and a driver are recovering after a crash. Investigators say the driver was going the wrong way on eastbound I-70 near Strasburg. A deputy tried to stop the driver but ended up getting hit. The sheriff's office sent us these photos. You can see the damage of both vehicles and what was left behind. Today, Congressman Joe Neguse will announce 4 measures to prevent and recover from mass shootings.
This comes just weeks after we marked 1 year since the Boulder King Soopers shooting. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us now. And Veronica, Neguse called for more gun control last year, right after the shooting happened. This year, he's taking a different approach.
He is. He's doing something a little bit different. This time around, Congressman Neguse isn't focusing so much on guns with these bills, instead helping those impacted when there's something like a mass shooting. 4 bills aim to do 3 things. The first one is the Safe Workers Act. That would expand workers' safety. It would direct the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health to run a study on threats of violence in the workplace, and then that study would be used to create best practices to protect those employees. Second bill, the Stop Violence Act, would provide federal money to put in place security measures at places of concern. The Help for Healing Communities Act would help with recovery after a traumatic event. And then finally, we have the Prioritizing Resources for Victims of Firearm Violence Act. That would prioritize assistance to victims of gun violence as well as their families. Congressman Neguse told our partners over at the Denver Post the purpose of 2 of those bills is to strengthen security measures and training protocols to really help reduce the threat of gun violence at places like schools, grocery stores, theaters, and other spots where community members gather. He said, quote, "These bills are common sense security measures that we could take today that ultimately could very well save lives." The package already has some support behind it from several unions, some gun prevention nonprofits, and some mental health awareness councils as well. In studio, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Yesterday, President Biden announced new federal regulations to crack down on ghost guns, weapons that are virtually untraceable because they're privately assembled. The new rules will require purchasers to pass a background check. Also, manufacturers must put serial numbers on firearms components, and firearm deals must add serial numbers to already built ghost guns that they come across.
Commerce City Police say they have a man in custody facing several sexual assault allegations. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us this morning. And Christian, it sounds like police have wanted this person off the streets for a long time.
Yeah, officials believe that this suspect actually may have committed other sex crimes in multiple states. And so they're asking any other victims to come forward. And this is the suspect. His name is Demetrios Antonio Esquire Wooden. And he was arrested in Missouri in March and then extradited to Colorado a week ago. And now he's behind bars in Adams County. And Wooden is accused of sexual assault for an incident that happened in Commerce City in September. And during that investigation, they also connected him to a separate victim in Denver back in June. Detectives believe that Wooden may have committed other sex crimes in Florida, Georgia, Texas, Missouri, Minnesota, as well as other Midwestern states over the past 10 years. And so Denver police are asking anyone who may have information on Wooden when it comes to these crimes or possibly other crimes to contact them. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. Former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson is now speaking out after being fired last week. The former chief stood alongside more than a dozen community leaders and council members calling her firing an injustice. City Manager Jim Twombly said it came down to a lack of leadership, but Wilson says that isn't true. She spoke about the massive records backlog Denver 7 Investigates first exposed. An independent report found more than 2,500 crimes stuck in a queue, delaying investigations.
What did you know about the records backlog? What did you try to do about the records backlog?
Obviously, it's something no one wants, no chief wants to have happen or have to be dealing with. But we have been dealing with this for years. This is not a revelation. This was for lack of a better term, a convenient moment for them to disparage me. And that is the bottom line.
The city manager stressed Wilson didn't lose her job because of the backlog. Wilson didn't announce a lawsuit against the city, but said she is exploring all options. APD is now being led by Division Chief Christopher Jewell. City leaders plan to name an interim chief in the coming weeks and hope to hire a permanent replacement in the next 6 months.
To the latest in Ukraine now, the Pentagon is monitoring reports of Russian troops using chemical weapons against fighters and civilians. A paramilitary group in Ukraine's National Guard has accused Russian forces of using a drone to drop a poisonous substance over the city of Mariupol. That's one of the cities that's been hardest hit by Russian forces. As many as 20,000 people may have been killed in the fighting there. Many of the holdouts are hunkered down in a steel factory right now. A new report from the United Nations finds nearly 5 million Ukrainian children have been displaced by the war. That's about 2/3 of all children in Ukraine. The UN says 3 million of the displaced children are living in other cities than their home cities, while the other 2 million are now in other countries.
Well, some positivity here. A local group is looking to give Marshall Fire survivors new opportunities to make music. Travis Albright originally founded the Future Arts Foundation to help teachers and students purchase instruments. The Marshall Fire, though, expanded the organization's mission to professional musicians who also couldn't afford instruments. Travis put out a call for donations on social media and received 500 instruments in 1 week.
But people are donating like $15,000 harps. That's great because we're giving these to people who are professional musicians and lost their instruments, and the insurance company isn't covering that.
And this could be part of the healing process. Travis and the foundation are getting ready for their biggest fundraiser of the year, the Bluebird Music Festival at Mackey Auditorium in Boulder. That money will help students pay for music lessons. The festival is April 23rd and 24th, so coming up, we have information, including how to donate, on thedenverchannel.com.
If you're on the hunt for a home, there is a little bit of good news in the market this morning, but experts are warning prices could reach a staggering new high by Memorial Day. Wait till you hear this number.
Also, DU's hockey team wants to celebrate its latest championship with you. How you can get in on the party tonight.